Imagine a person who argues with everyone, proves himself in every conversation, and reacts to every criticism. And now imagine another person who simply smiles, stays silent, and keeps moving forward. After a few years, something interesting happens. The first person is still busy explaining himself to the world. Have you ever noticed something interesting about life? The people who talk the most about success are often still chasing it, while the people who quietly work on themselves slowly start achieving it. In today's world, everyone wants to respond, react, argue, and prove themselves. Social media has made people believe that every opinion deserves a reply and every criticism deserves a reaction. But the truth is very different. Sometimes the most powerful response is silence. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strength under control. Anyone can shout when they are angry. Anyone can react when they are criticized. But it takes real maturity to stay calm when emotions are high. It takes real wisdom to understand that not every battle is worth fighting. Imagine throwing a stone into a muddy pond. The water becomes more disturbed. But if you leave it alone, slowly the mud settles and the water becomes clear again. In the same way, when life throws situations at you, reacting immediately only disturbs your mind. Silence gives your mind the space to settle. Many people waste their precious energy explaining themselves to others. They want everyone to understand them, everyone to appreciate them, everyone to agree with them. But think about it for a moment. Is it really possible to satisfy everyone? Even the sun that rises every morning is sometimes criticized for being too hot. If the sun started worrying about every complaint, the world would remain in darkness. In the same way, if you spend your life trying to answer every criticism, you will never move forward. Silence protects your energy. Your time and attention are the most valuable resources you have. When you spend them arguing with people who have already decided not to understand you, you lose both peace and progress. But when you stay silent and focus on your growth, your actions slowly begin to speak louder than your words. Over time, people may forget what you said, but they will always remember what you achieved. There is a beautiful lesson hidden in nature. The tree that grows the tallest does not make noise while growing. It grows quietly day by day, root by root, branch by branch. Years later, people sit under its shade and admire its strength. In the same way, real growth in life happens silently. The process may not be loud, but the results are powerful. Staying silent also teaches patience. When things are not going your way, the temptation to complain becomes very strong. But complaining does not change the situation. It only weakens your mindset. Silence, on the other hand, gives you the strength to keep moving forward without losing focus. It reminds you that life rewards consistency more than noise. One day something interesting begins to happen. The same people who once doubted you start noticing your progress. The same voices that once criticized you begin to respect you. And the most beautiful part is that you never had to argue with them. Your journey itself became the answer. So whenever life tests you with criticism, misunderstanding, or negativity, remember one simple principle. You do not need to prove yourself to everyone. Stay calm, stay silent. Keep working on your dreams with patience and discipline. Because in the end, the world listens most carefully, not to the loudest voice, but to the strongest results. And when your success begins to speak, your silence will have already said everything. Sometimes in life we feel a strong urge to respond to everything that happens around us. If someone criticizes us, we want to defend ourselves immediately. If someone misunderstands us, we feel the need to explain our side of the story. If someone doubts our abilities, we want to prove them wrong at that very moment. But one of the deepest lessons life teaches us is that not every situation requires our reaction. In many moments, silence carries far more wisdom than words. Think about a river flowing peacefully through a valley. It does not stop every few meters to argue with the rocks that come in its path. It simply flows around them and continues its journey toward the ocean. The rocks remain where they are, but the river keeps moving forward. In the same way, when we keep reacting to every obstacle, every comment, and every criticism, we stop our own flow. But when we learn the art of silence, we allow ourselves to keep moving toward our destination. Many people misunderstand silence. They believe that if someone remains quiet, it means they are weak or they have nothing to say. But in reality, silence often reflects deep strength. It shows that a person has control over their emotions and does not allow every situation to disturb their inner peace. Reacting is easy. Remaining calm requires awareness and maturity. There is also a powerful truth about arguments. Most arguments do not change minds, they only increase ego. When two people argue, both are usually trying to prove that they are right. Very rarely is someone truly listening to understand the other person. Silence breaks this cycle. When you choose not to react to unnecessary negativity, you step out of the game completely. And once you step out, the noise around you slowly fades away. Silence also gives you clarity. When the mind is constantly reacting, it becomes like a crowded marketplace filled with voices from every direction. In such noise, it becomes difficult to hear your own thoughts. But when you choose silence, the mind becomes calm and clear. In that calmness, you begin to understand what truly matters in life and what does not deserve your attention. Another beautiful aspect of silence is that it shifts your focus from proving yourself to improving yourself. Instead of spending time explaining your intentions to others, you invest that time in learning, growing, and becoming better each day. Over time, this quiet improvement creates results that no argument could ever achieve. Imagine a seed planted in the soil. For days and weeks, nothing seems to happen above the ground. It looks like nothing is growing. But beneath the surface, roots are developing quietly and preparing for a strong tree. In the same way, when you stay silent and keep working on yourself, the growth may not be visible immediately. Yet slowly and steadily, your efforts are building a strong foundation. Eventually, the day comes when your work begins to show. The progress you made quietly becomes visible to everyone. And the most interesting thing is that by then you no longer feel the need to prove anything. Your actions speak on your behalf. Life has a simple but powerful rule. Noise attracts attention for a moment, but consistency earns respect for a lifetime. So when situations arise that tempt you to react instantly, pause for a moment. Choose calmness over chaos, patience over impulsiveness, and silence over unnecessary words. Because sometimes the greatest victories in life are not achieved by speaking louder, but by growing stronger in silence. There are moments in life when silence feels uncomfortable. The mind says, say something. Defend yourself. Explain your side. It almost feels as if staying quiet means losing the moment. But if we observe life carefully, we begin to realize that silence is not losing. In many situations, it is actually winning with wisdom. Think about a situation where someone says something harsh to you. The first reaction that arises in the mind is to respond with the same intensity. But have you ever noticed what usually happens next? One reaction leads to another, then another, and suddenly a small comment turns into a big conflict. Words that could have been avoided are spoken, relationships get strained, and peace of mind disappears. All of this happens because in that moment we allowed our emotions to control our response. Now imagine the same situation with a different approach. Someone speaks harshly, but instead of reacting immediately, you remain calm and silent. The moment that could have turned into an argument simply dissolves. Silence has a way of absorbing negativity without allowing it to grow. It is like a wall that stops the echo of unnecessary words. In life, many people spend their time trying to prove themselves to others. They want recognition, approval, and validation from everyone around them. But the truth is that no matter how much you explain yourself, there will always be someone who misunderstands you. Trying to satisfy every opinion is like trying to stop the wind with your hands. It is simply impossible. Instead of spending energy on explanations, imagine investing that same energy into improvement. When you grow silently, something remarkable begins to happen. Your work starts speaking for you. Your character begins to reflect your values. And gradually, people start noticing the difference without you having to say a single word. Silence also brings an inner strength that words cannot provide. When you remain quiet in challenging situations, you give yourself the chance to observe rather than react. Observation leads to understanding, and understanding leads to wiser decisions. Many mistakes in life happen because people speak before they think. Silence creates a small pause between emotion and action, and that pause often makes all the difference. Nature quietly teaches this lesson every day. The sunrise does not make noise to announce its arrival, yet it lights up the entire world. The moon does not speak, yet it brings calmness to the night sky. True influence often works quietly, without needing attention or applause. When you adopt silence in your life, you also begin to experience greater peace. The mind becomes less crowded with unnecessary conflicts. You stop carrying the burden of arguments and explanations. Instead, your focus shifts toward meaningful goals, personal growth and inner happiness. Over time, people around you may begin to notice your calm nature. Some may even wonder why you do not react like everyone else. But slowly they start understanding that your silence is not ignorance, it is awareness. It is the understanding that life is too valuable to be spent in unnecessary noise. And then comes the most beautiful moment. The things you once felt the need to explain become visible through your actions. Your consistency, patience, and dedication create results that speak far louder than any words could. In the end, life does not reward the loudest voice, it rewards the most focused effort. When you learn to remain silent in the face of distractions and keep moving steadily toward your goals, you discover a powerful truth. Silence is not empty. Silence is filled with strength, clarity, and the quiet confidence that everything you seek will eventually find its way to you. There is a quiet strength that very few people truly understand. In a world where everyone is trying to be heard, trying to prove themselves, trying to respond instantly to every opinion, choosing silence can feel unusual. But sometimes what feels unusual is actually what brings the greatest peace and success. Many people believe that the louder they speak, the stronger they appear. But life slowly teaches us a different lesson. Strength is not always in speaking. Often it is in knowing when not to speak. A person who reacts to everything is like a leaf in the wind, moving in every direction depending on the situation. But a person who has learned silence is like a tree with deep roots, standing firm no matter how strong the wind blows. Think about how much of our daily stress comes from unnecessary reactions. Someone says something that hurts our feelings, and we carry that thought the entire day. Someone criticizes our work, and we immediately feel the urge to defend ourselves. Someone misunderstands our intentions, and we spend hours trying to explain. All of this drains our energy, not because the situations are so big, but because our reactions make them bigger than they actually are. Silence creates space between the situation and our reaction. In that space, something powerful happens. The mind gets a chance to settle. Emotions begin to calm down. And suddenly the problem that seemed huge just a moment ago appears much smaller. This small pause often prevents us from saying words we might regret later. Another beautiful benefit of silence is that it helps us listen. When we are always focused on what we want to say next, we stop paying attention to what is actually happening around us. But when we remain quiet, we begin to observe people more carefully. We understand their emotions, their intentions, and sometimes even their struggles. Silence does not only calm the mind, it deepens our understanding of life and relationships. There is also something remarkable about people who quietly focus on their goals. They do not spend time announcing their plans or explaining their dreams to everyone. Instead, they put their attention into daily effort. Day after day, step after step, they keep moving forward. From the outside, it may seem slow, but inside a powerful transformation is taking place. Consider a sculptor working on a block of stone. At first it looks like ordinary rock, nothing special. But with each careful strike of the chisel, the shape slowly begins to emerge. The sculptor does not shout about every strike, the work happens silently. And one day people look at the sculpture and admire its beauty, not realizing how many quiet hours went into creating it. Life works in a similar way. When you stop reacting to every distraction and start focusing on meaningful progress, your efforts begin shaping your future. The results may not appear overnight, but they arrive steadily. And when they finally become visible, they carry a sense of depth and authenticity that words alone could never create. The world often celebrates noise, but it ultimately respects consistency. People may forget loud promises, but they remember steady actions. They remember the person who remained calm in difficult situations. They remember the one who kept working quietly while others were busy arguing. In the end, silence becomes more than just the absence of words. It becomes a source of inner balance. It reminds you that your energy is precious and should be spent on growth rather than conflict. When you practice this quiet strength, life begins to feel lighter and clearer. And gradually you realize something profound. You do not need to chase recognition or prove your worth to the world. When your actions are sincere and your efforts consistent, the right opportunities, respect, and success naturally find their way to you. Sometimes the most powerful path forward is simply to stay silent, stay focused, and allow your life itself to become the message. So the next time someone doubts you, the next time someone misunderstands you, the next time someone criticizes you, do not rush to prove yourself. Just smile, stay silent, work harder, grow stronger. And one day, when life starts giving you everything you once prayed for, people will ask, how did you do it? And your success will quietly answer for you. Because sometimes in life, those who stay silent eventually receive everything.